Hey, hello again to those who are here and to those who are listening to the recording. And this is a first meeting of 20 and 26. And this is, well, let's say a little celebratory talk to start the new Strong Roots Genealogy year. And well, hopefully, genealogy year for you, if maybe it was like a break for holidays, and then maybe now you will want to start again or continue with your research, and maybe it will help us to get into the mode of genealogy. So, I was thinking, how do I start this? Because they said it's quite informal. It was just, I just thought of it and I just sent the links and that's it. So I'm thankful that you are here. And I was thinking, what should I say? And of course, I should start by saying Happy New Year, and then you need to wish for something to, have some nice greetings. And I was thinking, we all always wish for health and all the nicest things, for the year to be rich in, in many things and all the good things in the world. And, you know, when we talk about genealogy, all of those apply too. But I thought that probably the best New Year wish would be to have new discoveries and the discoveries that we are waiting for, you know, the discoveries that we always keep in our hearts and we really want to find the answers. So I think this is the best goal and the best wish for this new year. And yeah, I really wish that the questions that you have, you find the answers for because I know that there are people who have really these complicated situations, and we all have them. I have them too, and I don't know if I ever will find out the answers, but hopefully, let's hope that this year is the year when we find answers at least to some of those questions. And actually, we probably all had this break, although I don't know how it's where you live, but here in Lithuania, uh, people do this thing, people who are into genealogy, when there is any holiday or, a few days that they don't need to go to work, mm, typically they spend them on genealogy because there is not much time, in our daily lives. And then you either do it at night or then you wait for the 3 days. How do you call them? It's not vacation. What is it?
It's like the
So
weekend.
yeah, like
It's like the weekend.
weekends. Yeah, weekends, but also, those there are these kind of holidays that people don't really consider truly holidays. Like there is this May 1st here. It's called well, it's Labor Day basically, but no one cares about it. They just go and have a picnic or something, or just stay home. So, every opportunity that you have some free time, you kind of spend it on genealogy because otherwise, well, people who who have other activities like school, university, work, etc. You know, mm, so this is how it happens. So what I wanted to say is that, you know, although this happens like that, but a short break in our research, I feel it's good for us because these new discoveries sometimes come, when we are really trying to find the answers, but also sometimes after we take that break, we take our mind uh, away from it and we are just thinking about other things, about Christmas, etc. And when we come back, sometimes we see something that we didn't see before, or sometimes it just kind of appears, in front ourselves. Like suddenly we find the answer, and that goes for also for finding the records, because I had this family, just one example, out of many. I had this family that I was really trying to find their records, and they moved parishes, and it was something strange, and I was looking and looking and looking, and I looked through those parishes. I didn't see them. And then I just decided to just leave them, and just let them take some rest. And I came back to that family after half a year, and I found them in 10 minutes. So sometimes this is what happens. We just need to relax a little bit and remove the stress, because sometimes we really feel deeply about those situations. We really really want to find those answers, and sometimes, well, that's when we kind of make it harder for ourselves. And when we relax, sometimes it gets easier. So hopefully this break that we had will give us new perspective. And when we look at the information that we have, maybe we will see something that we didn't see before. Yeah. And also what I was thinking, I was preparing for this lecture that we're going to have later on immigration. And well, we had that lecture with the people who participated in Lithuanian genealogy and culture course. So it has been revised now. We have two courses instead of one now, but it happened in autumn, I think. And it's going to be a similar lecture now, but I was thinking about the sense of nationality, of belonging to some nation. And there was this idea that I read that many Lithuanian things at the end of the period when Lithuania was in the Russian Empire, many Lithuanian things started first not in Lithuania but in United States. Because although people, when they left, they didn't have the strong sense of being Lithuanian. They were mostly, colonized, or there was Russification, really strong. And they went, well, specifically to United States, other places too, but in the United States it happened stronger because there were more people there. They started feeling this longing, and they kind of formed this Lithuanian identity abroad. And for example, first Lithuanian newspaper, it started not in Lithuania, but in United States. Because typically we think about the first Lithuanian newspaper that was in Lithuania. It's Aušra by Jonas Basanavičius. But actually, the Lithuanian press, the first newspaper, it started in the United States a few years earlier. And I feel that this stronger sense, well, in some sense, I don't know how to see it otherwise, it still remained in people who are descendants of immigrant families. Because I feel for many of you that you really have this longing, for Lithuania, and you cherish it more than we here. And what's happening now in Lithuania is this really crazy wish to distance ourselves from all things about village culture, all things about about the past, and really go quickly into the future, into the Western culture, into all this modern thing. And sometimes, well, how should I say? You might see that there are many initiatives, etc., and it's considered cool now to sing, these folk songs, or to dance folk dances, etc. But I feel that sometimes it gets politicized a little bit, but also there are many people who don't care about these things at all, and they consider that, for example, speaking in a dialect is shameful, kind of, and it's cooler to dance these foreign dances than Lithuanian ones. And well, sometimes it is like that, that we kind of feel the shame somewhat uh, for our, heritage. And I think that's why I'm saying, in some sense, sometimes people who know the Lithuanian roots, they try harder to get to know this ancestral culture. So, well, that's probably another wish for all of us, to cherish our heritage more, what we have that's left from our ancestors, that, we are trying to continue. And yeah, I think that we need to find excitement in our culture, all of us, no matter where we live. We have different family situations, different, living situations, etc. And some of us stayed here, some of your ancestors maybe came to our countries, but kept some of the culture. But the purpose is still the same, to try and continue our traditions and what was left for it, what was um, given for us from our ancestors. And genealogy is actually one of the ways. I'm always, um, saying to folks here when we meet, sometimes people don't kind of fully understand why would we need genealogy. And they're like, okay, so what's in it for me? Why should I do it? But what's the use of it? Why is it useful? And although you can explain it theoretically, but the reasons we all have within us, I feel. And although, well, usually people get into genealogy when they have a question, like a mysterious story about someone, at least here locally, there are, the typical stories sound like this. My great grandfather received some land from the Tsar. Why? Or, for example, someone was conscripted to the army, went to a war, and no one knew what happened to them anymore. All these stories. So this, this is where it comes from, the wish to find out more. But there are also these inner reasons that we sometimes cannot even put into words, and maybe it's difficult. And other people, when they look from the side, you're like, are you crazy? Why do you want this? And why is it so important? And I feel that unless you have the feeling, it's difficult to understand. But if you have it, then you know it. So yeah. But well, there are interesting things that genealogy can offer us. Um, Getting to know the culture for one, but also it helps us understand the previous generations. Not immediately. Sometimes it's really difficult because we are thinking, why would they do this? But we cannot do this if we go into genealogy. We need to really try and understand, and maybe, not accept that it was good. Maybe not all of it was good, but accept that it happened already. And because it happened a certain way, we are here. And if something happens slightly differently, we don't know if we would be here. And we might be happy or not happy about it, but it already happened. And maybe it was supposed to. Maybe we need to learn something from this. Maybe we can, um, think about it, make some mental notes, and maybe try to act differently, but not from the place of judging the previous generations, but from understanding that these were the circumstances for us. Okay, I'm mispronouncing the word, sorry. Yeah, but this is what their life was, and now we have a different life, and we can maybe take the lesson, but skip the judgment. It's complicated and not always easy to do, but that's what we should try for, I feel. Okay, so I will not share my screen now or anything. I'll just, talk, but I wanted to share the plans for the few upcoming months. In case maybe you want to join course or just a session if you're interested, because this spring I included some topics that we talked about actually in the Zoom sessions, and I think that maybe some people might find them exciting or interesting, because, well, some people were interested in them. So we are starting now with this Lithuanian Genealogy 102 course, because before New Year, in the beginning of December, we finished with another group of 101. And so we are now continuing with 102. So to skip the confusion, I tried to make a different title for the second part course, and the contents were a little bit different. I now thought about it and made them separate. It's Genealogy 1, Genealogy 2, and then we have Heritage and Culture as a separate course. So Lithuanian Genealogy 102, we are starting today with immigration. So we will be talking more about the name changes, about the routes, how it was done, etc., etc. Then second part, next weekend, is going to be a circle of life. So if in 101 we only mention some traditions for birth or baptism, but not only baptism, and the wedding traditions and death traditions, then this lecture, is put together in order to go into depth. So I talk more about each of those vital events and how it used to be done, a bit of the change before Christianity, after Christianity, and then after Christianity, we had this mix mostly. So how it used to happen. And then part 3 is history of wars, uprisings, and occupation. So, well, hard stuff, but we need to talk about it. So it's going to be on 17th. And then next month, February, we have 2 sessions. So part 5 is music of society. We are talking about different groups that lived in Lithuania from the oldest of times. And that includes genealogy, introduction to genealogy research of Lutherans and Jewish people. And then we are going to have part 6 as a practical advice session to answer the questions that we have throughout the course, just to talk it out. And this one is free, so anyone can join. Even people who didn't participate in the course, they can join and we can talk. So that's the plan. Now for Lithuanian Genealogy 101, another group, because there are people who are waiting for it. So we are going to have another group, but this one is going to be against revised. So I added a 4th session because I feel that we skipped a little bit of information in the first groups. And then we have this Zoom session, I think also in December or in the end of November, I don't remember, about using EAIS system. So finding the records, not only reading them, but also finding the records, talking about it more in detail. So if you haven't participated in that, you are welcome to join just this one session if you already participated in 101, because many of you did. But I'll just, show in real time how to use that system, how to navigate it, use specific functions, and how to find specific parishes, etc. Because I feel that I talked about it a little bit, but maybe it wasn't so clear because I was, communicating with people, and I felt that there was a gap. So let's fill that gap. Other things are the same. We have, understanding Lithuanian roots. We have introduction to the resources, and we have background history. So analyzing the records, even if we don't know the language, is difficult. And there was someone I was talking to, and he said, so how do I proceed? I kind of understand how it works, but sometimes I still mix the surnames in Cyrillic. And he was like, do I have any other choice than to learn Cyrillic letters? And no, if you want to proceed deeper, if you want to recognize efficiently, the letters, the names, you will need in the future to learn Cyrillic. But the first steps can be done without this learning process, just by analyzing. So, okay. And then the plans for March and for April are Lithuanian Heritage and Culture course, and it includes some of the sessions we already had, but also some new ones. So we'll start on 1st of March with Lithuanian plants of fields and garden. So we'll include both the plants that people used to and still grow in their gardens, but also the plants that they would pick just in the field. So I will add more information than we had in some previous session, and yeah, so it will be a new version. Then there will be a little break, and on the 22nd of March, we'll talk about something that some people really asked for. So hopefully there will be those who are interested. We'll talk about people and nature. And by that, I mean that I'll try to explain the tradition of beekeeping, the tradition of picking mushrooms and berries, and picking herbs. So again, we will kind of cross over a little bit the first two sessions, but the tradition itself and how it is depicted, all of these are depicted in the traditional culture, in the folk culture, in the folklore, actually. So it should be interesting. So let's start with beekeeping. It was a whole philosophy, I feel, and people who would keep the bees, they were really special. And there is this word, bičiulis, which means a friend now, but not just any friends. In older times, bičiulis would be, and in Lithuanian, a bee is bitė. So bičiulis would be someone who shares bees and honey with you, someone who helps each other, So beekeepers have this, I don't know how to call it, it's not a network, but it was this really kind of spiritual thing, we could say. So yeah, we'll talk about that. Then we'll have a session about Lithuanian language and how it came to be. Then Lithuanian food. Again, I will revise it. It's not going to be the same as we had before. Yeah, there will be more. And then we'll have customs of the year. So all the traditional, well, main, not all the main traditional holidays and celebrations. And well, typical traditions connected to them. So this is the plan. Quite busy. And as we left YouTube for good, I think, I only upload the recordings there, but I think Zoom works better. So we'll have Zoom sessions always. And yeah, so we can also talk at the end of each. And I don't know, I haven't thought about making separate Zoom sessions. I think that if we'll have some, there will be something like this, only maybe we'll talk more with each other. So not on a specific topic probably, but just to meet if there is someone who wants to meet and so talk, discuss, something like that, because people really enjoyed those, I remember. So I'll think about it more, but for now, this is the plan. So if you find any of those topics interesting, you're welcome to join and listen and talk and discuss things. So this is,
Evelina,
yeah,
that's why I signed up for the immigration talk again, because when we first started back with you in 101, I didn't know anything. So
yeah,
I said, I'm gonna take that again, just to listen again, because I know a little bit more, not a lot more. And the other thing I wanted to just mention is you talked about immersion in culture and whatnot. When a group of us went to Ireland, which is where part of my family comes from, they had to have this Irish coffee. And there's no such thing in Ireland as an Irish coffee. It's just mixing a dark beer and not that that's a black and tan. They don't do that there. They do it here in the United States. And the Irish coffee was a cup of coffee with, I don't know, Jameson whiskey or some kind of whiskey.
Yeah.
It's not something they do there. It's something that I guess, Americans had to do. And the other thing I noticed, and this is true, I think everywhere, when we went to Ireland, we went to a restaurant and for breakfast, and there were beer bottles like in the street. They let them apparently drink in the street, and it was beer that's made in the United States. And we thought, well, what do they drinking that for? It's not a beer that maybe I would drink or whatever, but it was cool. Like you say, it was cool, and everybody wants to be Irish on St. Patrick's Day, so they can drink and party, and it's not the same it's just different, but it's something that people who are Irish want to assume this, and it's not Irish at all.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting with Irish and Scottish immigrants to the United States. I feel there is a lot to, read about and learn about, because I feel like they tried to appear, I don't know, maybe they wanted to scare the locals a little bit, because let's start with Halloween, how it started.
Oh yeah,
because they really wanted to scare the locals, and that's how it's formed this how it formed like we know now.
Right.
It wasn't like that before in Scotland and in Ireland. It was completely different meaning. But like the version that we know now is that they wanted to scare the locals.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, so
that is true.
I mean,
It's crazy.
I feel that, Scottish and Irish people really formed this very special subculture in the United States.
Well,
and maybe they drank this coffee with alcohol in it there in the States, maybe.
But the funny thing is, tea is more common. That was the hot drink or whatever that my ancestors all drank. They didn't drink coffee. There was none of this coffee. So I'm like, where did this coffee come from? But you're right. I think my family came so long ago in the 1850s that they wanted to assimilate, and everything was left behind. So there are no cultural, norms. And I think you're right. I think people in the United States they want to be part of that, but not sure how. So, sometimes people just make stuff up.
Yes. Well, that's also an interesting thought, although I feel that people have this feeling of I want to get to know this culture. Also, there are
Yeah.
things that are not accurate, and I see them,
Right.
I see
Yeah.
posts, and I'm always like, fighting the surge to say that, okay, this is not right, but I don't want to say it. I don't want to that person lose the enthusiasm. But
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why I try to educate,
Yeah.
especially about the
Yeah.
language,
Yeah.
because there are all these high ideas,
Yeah.
and yeah, people make stuff up because they want to have this feeling of importance of something, of
Right.
substance,
Right.
and
Right.
it's a very interesting thought, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think on the other hand, trying to find this guy that I've been telling you about, James Shelley,
Yeah.
there are people, peripheral people that I've been researching, trying to figure out, is there a connection or whatever. And I just last night found a guy who changed his name in the 1950s, but he had already served in the United States military under his Lithuanian name. And then in 1950, he changed his name, his last name from
Yeah.
Jankowski or something of that nature to Evans.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's very far.
So are they trying to see? So my impression were, why would you do it at that point? Is there something I want to think? Are you trying to get away from something? Yeah, I don't know. It's very strange to me why so many name changes, but I'm working on it.
Yeah. I just thought about an idea. If you haven't done that before, um, when I talk about this, I talk from more this Lithuanian standpoint, where I'm here locally,
Mm,
and also theoretically, how the names change, etc. But there are people in the States who are really well advanced in the search in United States records and better in local records. So if you haven't yet, could post all you have, like documents and information, in Lithuanian Global Genealogical Society Facebook group, because
okay.
just some years, back when I started looking for family in United States, there was actually someone who helped me, uh, because one person traveled under a different name,
Ah,
but only traveled. Then
ah,
he used his own name, but he traveled under a different name. So he just probably received that ticket somehow from another person
yeah,
who
yeah.
didn't use it, and
Mm,
that person was able to help me find the
okay,
right record. So maybe someone who does this a lot, research in
okay,
the American records. Maybe they could, find something like a hint, because sometimes, it's just a hint that we need. So, there are people who are really eager to help sometimes. So if you just
right,
post there,
yeah.
maybe there is going to be someone who can help.
I think I'm part of the global Facebook page, so
Yeah,
I'll put
because
something
it's,
together.
a more active one, because the other one,
Yeah,
the thing in genealogy, it's less active, I feel. There are posts there, but it's less active, and that other
yeah,
one is bigger. And,
yeah.
yeah, because we,
Okay.
of course, people here in Lithuanian genealogy community, uh, we research those records, but we are not always in that, so we're more thinking
No,
about local documents, and maybe
right, right,
people who are always researching the state's documents can have more to offer in this
right, right,
case.
right. Because I did send away for the alien files for these two guys, the two people
Yeah. Are you
under
still waiting?
under Seskoska's name. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
using that
Okay.
name.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're making me crazy.
I understand. It's really something.
They're making me crazy. Yeah. I
Yeah.
want to find them though, but I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else wanted to ask something or say something? Feel free to do so. Yeah. If you think of something, you can let me know. But Sharon, are you saying something because you are muted? And I see that you unmuted the microphone, but I cannot still hear you for some reason. No. You can maybe type in the chat something with the microphone.
Could you repeat the name of that Facebook page that you just
Okay,
told
now
Colleen
now
about?
I think now I started hearing you. It's just coming a little bit later. So the group, yes?
No, this is Darlene asking about the
Okay.
Facebook group.
So I didn't hear Sharon, I heard Darlene, so that we are clear. Okay. I will type it. Lithuanian Global Genealogical Society. This is the group. Okay. So this is the new year for us. We'll be finishing now. I have some spare minutes between the sessions. So if any of you decided to join, you need to be really quick and go and register, and then I'll send you the link. And we'll have this first session on specifically immigration from local persons, you here. But I'll try to give you as much information as I have. And maybe, I feel that it helps sometimes to have this other view from, the original surnames, the original names, how it happened, why it happened. I think that one of the main questions is the whys, why did they go? Why did they need to go? So that's what we are going to talk about today. And all the waves. We have the original first wave, but we also have, for example, TP camps. People who, and what is interesting is that many people who left Lithuania just immediately after or at the end of World War II, they didn't consider themselves immigrants. They consider themselves deported people because they felt they needed to leave. They didn't have any other choice. So it's interesting when we compare all the situations. What are the alien files that you mentioned? Colleen mentioned
Yeah.
them, yes. Okay.
When if you're I just kind of came upon these files by accident. I had heard of them, but if someone registered for the draft for World War II, they were given an alien file. Now it's through the USCIS. It's the U.S. citizen. I'm trying to find it. It's sitting in front of me. Citizenship and Immigration Services. So if you're on Ancestry and I'm trying to remember how but sometimes, you find things just by chance. There's a website. Where is it? They're called C Files. Is it the C Files? I got to get it together here. I just sent for them those alien identification numbers that you will see when you look at the World War II. What do you call them? Registration forms. I know I'm not making any sense because I'm trying to make it organized in my head. So once
the draft.
What the draft? That's it. That's the word. That's the word I wanted. So for World War II, so go in and look for those people. And when you see the actual registration form with their name and where they were born and so on and so forth, if you click on not view the image, but the other one, just for the information, there's two options. And are you in Ancestry? So you can look at the actual image, but there's another option to look at the file. And what it'll give you an alien registration number for that person. And you can take that alien registration number and start searching around in the, hang on, I have these papers in front of me. I just, sorry, I'm losing my, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm sorry. Yeah, so that you take the alien, it's an A number. So it's called an A file. And you go to, just Google alien registration for World War II. And it'll look like, it'll look, from Ancestry, it'll look something like, oh, I'm sorry. I can't do it on my iPad. Anyway.
Maybe you can post about it later in our group,
yes,
and then
I'll do that.
Can,
yeah,
people can
right.
see.
Because what I was finding was I was finding this person with a Lithuanian name and an Americanized name. So it says Koskis and Shelsky. But each time they changed their name, they would get a document ID number. Once you start looking around, it'll start popping up for you. So you'll be tempted, which I was, and I did, alien case files. You can apply to the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, and you can request their alien file, and you include all those. Some people have three numbers. That, what's his name? James Shelley had three. He has one alien number, but three ID numbers. I know it doesn't make any sense right now, but once you start looking around, but go to that USCIS, it's the US, it's part of the Homeland Security Department, but it's about citizenship, USCIS.gov. I know it doesn't make any sense because it doesn't make any sense to me right now, but you'll start seeing how to apply for those records. And those numbers come right from the draft registration area on Ancestry. So they'll ask you a bunch of questions. They'll ask you for these A numbers and the ID numbers, which you'll have from Ancestry. I know, does that make your head spin or what? And I had to send away to Kansas. Telling you,
but it's I think that it's useful, for other people who maybe hadn't.
It is. And you kind of, because I don't know about you, I have found multiple names for all these people that are in these particular people are in Connecticut and Pennsylvania, in the mining area of Pennsylvania, a big Lithuanian presence there. So yeah, I'm sorry. I wish I was better prepared for that, but you'll start seeing how to apply for all that information. So there's no cost to it, but it takes a long time, I guess, to hear from them. And Social Security, the same thing. I haven't heard back from them either. So
yeah, I was going to say that another thing that's wise to apply for is Social Security application. But right. I guess they take their time, it's not that quick, but it's useful.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'll see it. It'll just start popping up to you and you say, oh, I see what I have to do here. Because I didn't know what to do here. And I figured it out.
So really, I see that you're, commenting if you have like a tip for someone, because you still, you are better informed about these ways to apply for something locally in the United States. So you can post about that in our group, really, and other
Okay.
people will take benefit from that, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, and you'll find that alien case file. That's what it's called, U.S. Index to Alien Case Files from 1944 to 2003. And it'll give you the person's name, if you have put together a family tree or whatever, and you will see all the different names that they had, because they have only one alien number, but they have multiple ID numbers if they ever change their name. So you'll see like I saw Shelsky, I saw how do you say that name?
Shashkauskas, I think.
That's it. And Shelley, all three names for one guy.
That story is, I really, I'm waiting until you figure this out, because I want to learn, the outcomes of this.
Yeah, it's wild. So I started
Yeah.
researching his second wife, who came from Pennsylvania. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we are going to be finishing now. I'm sorry, but
Okay.
the recording needs to load before I start the other session. So I'm really grateful that you shared this with others, and maybe someone will be able to move forward in their research because of this. And I'm grateful that you came here, because as I said, it was really just yeah, I just thought of it, and thought I will invite people. So I'm thankful that you came and used your valuable time for this. And I'll see some of you in 12 minutes. And we're talking about immigration, but I will organize just an informal talk again. I'll do that in advance so that you can plan for it. But I think that a lot of good comes from these just talk, informal talk.
Yeah. Is the link for the 2:00 the same as the link for this?
No, I sent a separate link. If you haven't received it, Sally, I will resend it now.
Please resend it. I don't think I got it.
Okay,
thank you.
I will.
Thank you. Sorry I talk so much.
Oh, it's really all right, Colleen, and I'm glad that you shared this and explained to people what's, we have another session, so it's really all right. Okay.
Thank you.
So
see you in a bit.
Have a nice day to those who are not participating in the next one, and for those who are, I'll see you really, really soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.